Welcome to Let's Play Divinity II, the Dragon Knight Saga. This is a roleplay game, a light-hearted roleplay game that focuses on hacking and slashing, and it's character driven as you talk to characters to get your quests. And the quests tend to be mainly side quests with a plot running through the whole thing. And it's all linked up and done in a very interesting way. Although the early game you'll probably find a bit boring, but that's just setting the scene for you and getting the game running. Usually people find the beginning a little bit dull, but once you get to the castle, which is your reward for finishing the early game, and you've cleared the island the castle is on, that's when things really start getting interesting. That's when the game earns a high score from most reviews. Whereas prior to getting to the castle, it tends to get a 2, maybe a 3 from a lot of people, because it isn't that interesting early on. Now, you start off as a slayer of dragons, and the dragon knights are almost extinct. There's only one left, and your fellow slayers find her and they nearly kill her, and she gets away, and just before she dies she enters you and turns you into a dragon knight, so you become the thing you've hunted. And then you find out the truth of what's going on, and you end up taking up arms against this evil Damien character who's coming back to dominate the world. The usual story.
Thank you.
But when you get to the castle, this Damien really does appear, and he puts a thick fog of evil across the whole land, and anything underneath it dies. So you've got to stay out of the fog at that point. But it's lucky, because at that point you usually got the skills to change into a dragon, because you are a dragon knight, of course. So that means you can fly above the fog, and you can take on the forts and everything that are also above the fog as well, which you'll see later on. Your castle has many people in it. After you get it, you can hire people before you get it, so you can pick your staff, and then when the castle appears, they appear in it. And they have jobs they want you to do to improve their performance for you. This guy here makes me potions, for instance. If I supply him with the right ingredients, he'll make me the potions I need to do all my quests and stuff. Which is quite good, because it's very hard to get hold of the right potions sometimes. He also heals people. Like, you get runners that will run out into the world and pick up herbs and enchanting ingredients for me, and they get wounded, and you can use a trainer to equip them with stuff, and then you can also use the alchemist to heal them. Even the enchanter can give them items. So there's quite a lot going on in your castle alone, your battle tower alone, even without the rest of the game. But once you actually do leave your battle tower and you find out that the world around you is covered with these dragon-killing balisks, and you've got to take them out, things get interesting. It starts to turn into a kind of a Battle of Britain scene with dragons at that point. And you've got other dragon-type things flying around trying to kill you as well. Of course, because you are a dragon knight, your old friends, the dragon slayers, don't like you anymore, so they end up turning on you at one point. So you're alone. But eventually, when everything kicks off, that doesn't really make any difference at the end, because at the end you just you versus the bad guy, if you understand what I'm saying. The plot is really about you taking him on. Nothing else really matters. It's just sad plots. And as you can see, this is his realm. I don't know what realm this is called actually, but you go through a portal to get to it. And as you can see, the ballists are firing missiles at me and my dragon, and I'm flying around, trying to avoid them and take them out with flames and fireballs. Now this is a map of the main area, the game. You see it's got various zooms in it, so you can zoom in and out, and get a good view of everything. And this is your skills, so you can assign your points to your stats, which are there, and you can also get one skill point which you can assign to your spells and stuff. You see there. You can summon things. You got like spells that are more like necromancer spells. So you got mages, warriors, rangers, and dragon slayer skills. And you got a little display at the bottom there that shows you what they like to cast. It's actually quite an easy system. It's quite a friendly system. If I've got one complaint, is it's got the usual console auto aim thing going on, which means I can be looking over my shoulder and shooting forward and hitting something aiming requires no skill whatsoever. You can fight, it's like a guided missile, you know, basically. Which means you can't hit what you're aiming at in this game. Because if there's a closer target, it will always hit that. You're forced to shoot at the closest target all the time. It's one of the most annoying aspects of console games, and with this being on the PC as well, it is really, really annoying. It's not what you expect on a PC game, to be honest. And the bar rates, they shouldn't have added that for a PC game, but they have done so. Be warned. This guy is one of the characters you meet in the game. I'm not going to show you everything he says, because I don't want to spoil it for you. I'll just give you a little taster of what it's like. He's a philosopher who's blind, and you know, one of the things he wants you to do is help him get his sight back. That's a side quest, and this is typically how side quests are presented in the game. Now you get lots of characters like that kicking around, good and bad. I'll show you a few of them. But it's amazing how many there are, especially after you get the after you get to your castle and you start exploring the world dominated by this evil character. There seems to be a lot more going on. And for instance, when you're flying around as a dragon and you're just looking down the landscape, you don't see much. But the moment you land anywhere, whatever was in that area suddenly appears around you and starts fighting you or does things. So you can see little clues when you're flying around, like here. You see a building, teleporter, so I land there, and as soon as I do land there, anything in the area will magically appear, and I'll be able to interact with it. So you can see it's where's the dragon searching the cliffs, because many of the side quests can't be completed unless you do certain things, and some of them things are hidden on the cliff faces which you fly past as a dragon. By using cliffs, they can actually fit more things into a smaller landscape, which is quite ingenious really, because you can have several caves going up a level of a cliff, whereas if it was flat you'd only get one in the same location, if you see what I mean. Now these are the bad guys, but I defeated these early on and they agreed to sell me stuff if I spared them. So I can buy stuff from them if I want. Gold's always hard to come by, so you've got to loot everything you find, break containers and everything else. It's always a good idea to search everywhere. You also need to take a few points on the lockpicking skill, because many of the chests, well all the chests, well say 99% of the chests are locks, so if you don't have any lockpicking skills you'll never be able to open them. Now here's me flying through the canyon again. As you can see, the cliffs are really high and there's lots of things kicking around at different sides. You know, you can see here, look, and there's a nest there. I'll probably zoom in on that so you can see it. But I mean, some things are hostile, some things aren't, some things have something going on, some things don't. But you really got to scour the surface, everything. For instance, right on the ground level there's actually a cave. And around the corner from that there's a waterfall, and behind the waterfall there's another cave. So hidden things as well, you know, you've really got to go sniffing around and searching for things. It's quite interesting. Now this is my inventory. You can actually assign charms to weapons. This is where you kind of get a weapon with a spare slot, and then you right click on it and it'll say add charm. You click on charm, and any charms you've got on your inventory are available to add to that weapon, which is a bit like enchanting it, but enchanting is also something you do separately as well. So you can really make some powerful armor and stuff really quickly. You get the charms, by the way, throughout the game. Buy them or get them as rewards or farm them. This guy here is a necromancer, and he's got a book, and I'm necromancer 1, so I've gone to get it for him. I just got the two-handed weapons skill before this, so I'm giving it a test. Go forth, as you can see, it's quite effective. You know, it does quite a lot of damage. If I tried doing this with a single sword, it usually takes me a lot longer to kill someone. But the offhand weapon only does 70%, 30% damage, which is what it should be doing. But that's still 30% more than I would have gotten without it. Also, while you're hitting the other guy, he has trouble hitting you back. But you can see why it's a hack and slash game, can't you? Because it is all action. You can leap about. For instance, I could fall off the tallest mountain and not get a scratch when I landed. So gravity isn't even a factor in it either. These are imps. They're actually quite funny. You've got to learn at some point how to speak goblins. And this guy here, I suspect, is part of that quest.
Yucky, yucky human, go away! Alric, king of imps, not yucky, yucky you!
See? You get a lot of this kind of amusing tongue-in-cheek thing going on. If you read the book that you get off him, it explains, the difference in languages. And every time they have a word in English that means nothing in their language, they put yucky. For instance, love, frustration, fertility doesn't mean anything. They just say yucky instead. Here's a tree house. There's a goblin that you saw over here.
Another one to
and the
add
tree
to the
is a special tree. It's a quest location. It's a smart tree. Although you don't find that out right away. You get that a side quest later on that makes you come here. What's this? See that? Drop, not a scratch. Here's me swimming across the sea to another camp which I spotted.
Why shouldn't I keep it? It brings out my eyes.
Your eyes are pretty enough without that ring on your finger. It's just not proper.
A body washed up on the beach and I took this beautiful ring from it. I mean, I'm sorry the poor man's dead and all that, but it's not like he has any use for it anymore.
Karen, how can you be so uncaring? We must find out who this man is and return the ring to his family. Well spoken, Slayer.
There you go. You get a lot of that going on. Here's some more goblins again attacking me. This time I'm using a bow. I've actually got an explosive bolt arrow thing here, which I've just used. The only problem with this is, with the third person view is, the character you play is always in the way of the shot. You can't see sod all. I mean, I know console gamers love this view. But I mean, ask yourself, when you got a bow and you can't see what you're shooting at, where's the sense in that? I never did like this view. People say to me, oh, it makes me sick, blah blah blah, but this makes me sick with the camera swinging around wildly. Anyhow, this is a chicken run. There's actually a few bonuses in here, but if you kill all the chickens, you can pick up chicken, legs and stuff, which you can then use to eat and heal yourself. And here's the armour for the dragon. I picked these up early on without knowing what they were, and I couldn't put them on my character, but I kept them just in case. But as you can see, they're actually for the dragon. So this is what the dragon looks like with the equipment added. Quite impressive, really. Now I'm entering an area of heavy defences. This is goblin defences, but there are other defences like this elsewhere in the game. I haven't showed you some of the main attractions of this game deliberately. I'm kind of like showing you these side quests. But as you can see, these catapults fire these balls at me, which cause a considerable amount of damage. You're also going to see a bit of air-to-air combat here as well if you look. Now, I'm being attacked by other creatures here, so just watch. Whoops, I pressed the wrong key there and changed myself back into a man. Believe me, when the fireballs or catapults hit you when you're a man, and they do if they're on the way when you stop and change up from being a dragon to a man again, it will really help you out. This is that spawns the flying thing that are attacking me. I'll take that out, there'll be no more. Anyhow, we're getting at the end of the video now, so I'll show you one of the bad guys you come across, just a side quest again. It's obviously a trap, as you can see. Anyhow, this is a fast-paced RPG, and I think it's actually a lot of fun. If you like them sort of games, you'll love this. But it isn't a deep RPG, so it probably won't appeal to those hardliners that like their rich, detailed role-play world. Anyhow, that's it for now. I'll see you later.